to give that to as many people as possible and like help them see that they can also do amazing things. It's crazy. It's so rewarding. Like the collaboration is awesome.
This is Champagne is Also a Band podcast. One songwriter, one song. I'm Sven, your host for a journey into the music of Champaign-Urbana. Recorded in the Blue Box studio with a songwriter from the Champaign-Urbana music scene, past or present. Champagne is Also a Band podcast is proud to be a part of the Champagne Showers Podcast Network. Welcome to Champagne is Also a Band podcast. Today, I have three members of the Hideout, also known as the HHC, the Hip Hop Collective at the University of Illinois. And I'm going to actually let them all introduce themselves. So, Junie, go ahead. You start.
I'm Junie, and my artist name is Genaro Jr. I'm the president of HHC.
I'm Jacob, also known as JRJoos. I'm the vice president of HHC.
My name is Mathew. I just go by Mathew. I am the membership coordinator of HHC.
Somebody tell me a little something about what Hideout and the HHC is.
I guess just like a crash course. I feel like it got more complicated this year, but basically like last year it was known as just like HHC, Hip Hop Collective. Like it was started years ago by Chris, right?
I'm not sure actually who started it. I mean, Rudolph Hawken was our faculty advisor. It was just a small group of people who got together and liked to create hip-hop music together, and that's really all it was. It was like 9 to 10 people. Sometimes they'd do performances, but
it was during the pandemic too, so that's what made it like kind of hard to grow.
And HHC was super small, and there's some people that are in it now that were kind of the founding members back then, like Chris, Kuriken, and like Jinwa, Boy Ponder, Bluminous, all those people that are like were our introduction to the group. They existed there before us.
Yeah. So we're all sophomores. We joined last year, like our freshman year, and I know Mathew and Jacob were really involved in the admin part, like the administrative part of the club last year, and I wasn't really until like the second half of the year. But basically, like as soon as we joined the club, we got really invested into it, and all the like original members wanted to take a step back from running the club, and so
we're also super open to having anyone who wanted to just take an administrative position, like we'd still do now. Like we have admin meetings open to literally anyone that wants to come and like make decisions, and like that's how we got our start there. Maybe at one of the first couple meetings, Chris or some of the other members were like, "Hey, we're having our first admin meeting of the year. Anyone can come join." And then we went, and then I guess that was just it. That was it for us. We were locked in after that.
Yeah. So this year is like our first year running it together as like without them, and like it was kind of like a little wary at first because it was like big shoes to fill because they ran the group so well. But it was this year too, us establishing our own identity of how we wanted to run it, was changing the name of like the Spotify page and all, and how we present ourselves to Hideout, because we think that like Hideout has more of an identity and it's more like indicative of who we are as a group or like what we want to do.
What are the goals of Hideout?
One aspect that I cherish a lot about the group is that we feel like a space where people can come and like hang out, and it doesn't matter like what experience level they are, or like even if they don't record music or write music on their own, they can still come and hang out and like learn things and pick things up. And it really feels like a little sanctuary or something.
A lot of our released music will have people on it that is their first piece of recorded and released music like ever. People can get their start in music with this group, and there's a lot of beginners, and we also have a lot of experienced people, so we have that ability to kind of like nurture people's musical talent that they might not have even known they had.
Where does Hideout meet?
We meet every Tuesday at the Music Building Auditorium at 7 p.m. We do a bunch of activities, musical collaboration. Right now we're in our kind of planning phase for our next album because we're trying to do one album per semester. We've been hitting that. We did Sunrise in Sight our fall semester in 2021, and then Artificial Beauty in the spring semester 2022. And then most recently we just put out Found Footage, which was our fall 2022 album. And now we're going to go to work on number 4, which is crazy. Our turnaround is so fast. It might be faster than some of us want. But
oh, God.
These are massive albums. It's like 20, I think, Found Footage was 25 tracks. 25. It covers such a wide breadth of sound because there's some very, I almost want to say kind of the like hardcore sound, and then even some very lamenting and sad and I don't know. It takes you on a journey, and I think from the perspective of a compilation album that it does that. It almost fits and functions as if you'd be listening to a soundtrack to a movie, right? So that's a lofty goal. How are you facilitating the recording or getting these tracks into digital format so that you could put them together in the album?
We go through a lot of phases. Our biggest kickoff to all of our albums are always our lock-in event that we do. The past 2 have been 24 hours. Our first one was 12 hours, where we go to this location that's been separate to where we've been meeting for the rest of the year. Like most recently, we went to the Allerton House in the Woods for a day, and as the title says, we just lock in and make music for 24 hours. Well, maybe not 24 hours. I mean, the event is 24 hours, but at a certain point, we hit a wall and we were no longer real humans after 4 a.m. But that's where the album, I guess, kicks off. There's inception phases. There's just thoughts about what the album should be before, but then we really kick it off during the lock-in. And then there's the kind of rigorous post-production phase where we take everything that we've got at that point. We figure out what's good, what has potential, and then what needs to be re-recorded, what needs to be changed. And then a few of us, which we call the project committee of Hideout, which for the last album was only 5 people. We just make it as good as it can be.
Jacob's a tank. He does so much production.
I mean, Matthew, do you want to speak on anything about that? Or just about the process of making the albums?
Every time we go through the album process, I pray for Jacob. I pray for his well-being. It's so interesting that we start off with sometimes very vague ideas, and we cut everything out. We decide what goes where, based on literally how it sounds. I think we have always decided what goes where, how does this flow into that,
and we spur of the moment through lines that we just kind of find out of nowhere. The theme of our first album was
identity.
We just said before going in the theme is identity, but it didn't really pan out that way, and it ended up turning into a representation of what we did. We called it Sunrise in Sight because we started in the dark and we made music until the sun rose, and then elements of that appeared in the lyrics. So even though that wasn't initially what we decided the album was going to be about going in, we were okay, we found this through line, which kind of magically randomly appeared. Let's make the album about that instead. Or and for Found Footage, we wanted to make a spooky album because we were going in the house in the middle of the woods. We're going to be there in November. It's going to be nighttime, spooky, scary, cold. And I think that found its way through to the end. That was a very strong theme that we did find and were able to carry out until the end. I think that Found Footage is our most, even though we have so many sounds on that album, it tells a cohesive story. It has a cohesive feeling throughout the whole thing. I think we did a really good job, better than we have before in that case.
I agree.
I mean, we set on a vague story for Artificial Beauty where we are in the city and working a 9 to 5 that we hate. So we leave everything behind and go to the woods. It's just an A side and B side, and how these 2 elements sort of interact. I think this is the first time that we've thought about an actual storyline. There's lore and everything that we talked about.
It's not explicit lore. You could listen to the album and not get what's happening, which is fine. We want to make a good listening experience first before any type of narrative. There is a narrative line throughout the whole album. It's there's a group of people who go to this party in an abandoned haunted house, and then the middle section of the album where it gets kind of happy and lively and exciting and danceable, that is the party in the haunted house. But then the latter half is some people at that party get kind of controlled to go out in the woods and get taken over by this mysterious entity in the woods, and that's the last half of the album where it gets kind of more serious.
I noticed that you use the image of what is that even called? It's by the centaur, the death of the centaur,
Yeah,
or whatever. The three pillars out at Allerton. So was that all part of the recording process too? Is like you took a moment and then
we actually did go on a hike.
Dude, it was so scary.
In the middle of the night at Allerton. We said to kind of make use of your environment to inspire you. We kind of forgot that the statues were there at Allerton until we got there. And then we were like, this is actually so scary. In the night, these creepy statues. And we were like, we should use this imagery for the visual aspect of our album. And I think it really fit perfectly because a lot of our visual designers were unable to like be with us this semester. So it is very helpful that we were able to just use edited photos for our imagery instead of like digital art. And I think it fit the vibe really well, like grainy, dark imagery that fits the album really well.
What's next for Hideout?
For album 4, I mean, we're still conceptualizing all that. I think we want it to be something super fun since like the last one was really dark. So I think overall, I think we're really trying to just branch out in our performances. Like, we want to reach like farther places, like potentially maybe doing things in Chicago or like other places in state, but also trying to like get more involved in like the community too. Like I know Mathew, especially since he's the leader of outreach committee and like membership coordinator, we've been working closely with the Don Moyer's Boys and Girls Club, which is out here in Champaign. And this semester we've been kind of going more over there to try to like meet with the kids and build connections through that way. So we want to, or at least I want to get like more involved with that too. And I mean, right now all of our streaming money goes to them.
And you're working on establishing programs with them. Tell me a little bit about like what you're doing with them.
Yeah, so I am the head of the outreach committee. Because our advisor is not Rudolph Hawken anymore, at some point in time it was Dr. William Patterson and Rudolph at the same time, and then Rudolph stepped back to help with the electric strings, and now we're only under Dr. Patterson. And Dr. Patterson runs the Steam Genius Street College organization and like the Hip Hop Express, which is literally like a school bus like torn out and renovated into like a studio. It's so sick. They go around to different places and they talk to kids, mainly kids from like low income communities. They talk with kids in these communities and sort of like, for lack of better words, mentor and sort of like navigate them, which I think is like a really important thing to do. And we, as like a group of students from like a very wealthy university that has like a lot of resources, just like creating this black art that began from black communities and how like some people used to survive, and just like making that, I think just like I just felt it wasn't enough. We partnered up with Dr. Patterson and Street College, and we like pack all our gear and we like talk to the kids in the Boys and Girls Club, and we just give them that creative outlet, because I think that stuff is like so important, especially like being a black kid that just like never could really find that space. Seeing someone that looks like me having a future where they are happy, I think is something that I would have like loved to see. Being the person to like give back to that is something that's like really important. I'm very, 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 very grateful that like the network of people that I've found in HHC has been able to like help boost that idea. Like I presented that idea to them and they're like, let's do it. We just ran with it.
To me, I always think about how expression and creativity should always be accessible. It's not something that should have barriers to them. Of course, I'm speaking only from my point of view, so you know that is very limited. But it seems like that's something that is a very human right to have, is to be able to find ways to be creative and also find ways to express yourself.
I think it's super important, like in any way, whether it's music or just like music, telling stories, like drawing arts, like just any type of creativity is like amazing. I don't know, it's just my favorite sensation, just like sharing creations with other people and seeing their reactions and finding their opinions on it. Like I love it so much. And it's very important that everyone has the opportunity to be able to get that.
That's Hideout.
That is Hideout. I would say that's like the vision of Hideout.
So does Hideout itself as an RSO, does it have its own recording equipment?
We are about to, using school funds, we are about to. It's been approved, but so far all of the stuff has been
very DIY.
Very DIY, like our own stuff. Like like, I don't know, probably 50% of the verses have been like recorded on my mic and like
in a basement,
in a basement, right? It's a lot of our most popular like favorite songs were literally recorded in the bottom of an unfinished basement on like a performance mic. I kind of don't want to lose that.
Me neither.
Like even if we have better equipment, I don't want to lose that
scrappiness.
The scrappiness, right? Like it's just the visual of it in my mind, or just like the memory of it. I think even if people don't know that that song was made in a basement, I feel like they can feel the aspects of it. And I don't want to lose that. Even if we do have better equipment, it'll definitely be helpful if we have better equipment, because we do have stuff that we do want to have sound as good as possible. It's also better if we can like record multiple things at the same time, or like having accessibility for everyone. Like that's a problem that we have sometimes. We just have so many people and we only have so many like avenues for creating at the same time. So having more equipment will definitely help with that. But so far it has been very, very DIY.
I think there's like an energy too, like whenever we record stuff, like we're just like screaming in a basement as loud as we can. And like, I think it speaks a lot to like how hip hop is created now, where it's literally like kids are making like the craziest stuff like on their phones on like BandLab and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and I think
crazy.
that like no matter what, I think creation, I really like how accessible creating things can be now.
Yeah.
And like, I think that like using that and not losing that is also really important.
I think our biggest strength is just how many different people we have in our group. Because if we don't see ourselves as a collection of individuals, rather a like big congelation of like, I don't know if that's even a word, but congelation,
amalgam,
like an amalgamation of like everyone. It's like so unique. We have so many different avenues to create music, different styles, different influences, and I think that shows. I think that a lot of the songs on the most recent album especially like don't sound like anything else because of the range of influences that we have. Like there's different like sections of Hideout that are like very like used to making a certain type of sound. They're good at making a certain type of sound. But when we're in these like situations where we have like 60 people in one house, those different sections get like mixed around, and then you have like, for example, like Junie, who's like more used to like classic hip hop. He's on like this crazy experimental like loud beat on Silo song, or like one of the artists, MyFi, he's like a very mellow, like very beautiful like singer-songwriter type music that he usually makes. But he's also on one of our loudest, most aggressive songs yet, on Scraperies at the end, or like on a fast like EDM like type song at the end on Icker. Like I love when we put these people outside of their comfort zone and they like still shine even like brighter than they would outside of their comfort zone. I think that's like is so like hype when that happens. You're just like, yes, I knew that this would be good, and it like, oh, it's awesome.
I think like adding on to that a little bit, I think that just collaborating brings so much out of people and really, really helps them like improve. Because I think that's another thing I really value about Hideout is people like improve a lot when they're there. Because I remember last year when I joined, I had never performed in front of people. I had never really collaborated with anyone on the song or anything. I was so used to like doing all my creative stuff by myself, and to be plunged into this environment where people are like actively, you know, working with each other and like making songs together. Like I really came out of my shell and like I did things that I never thought I'd do before. And I just think that like to give that to as many people as possible and like help them see that they can also do amazing things. It's crazy. It's so rewarding. Like the collaboration is awesome.
There's songs that I've worked on that if I played for like my like 16-year-old self, they'd be like, whoa, this is not you. Like you would not do that. And I'll be like, yeah, well, I guess, I mean, it's like I found a kind of skill in myself to like find the like essence of another person's vision and kind of like bring it to life. A lot of people help with the post-production of the album, but I would say I'm the kind of main mind behind what the album ends up being. I put in a lot of work finishing songs, mixing them. I always thought of myself as like a, I don't know, like a producer, composer, just like making the ideas of songs. But I found that finishing out an idea of a song is like really, It I don't know, it's like something that I found in myself that I just had no idea before. Like it's just, I love doing that now. I love like asking like, hey, what do you want this song to be? Like, what is the idea that you want this song to be? And then taking that and then trying my best to keep that vision alive while also making it the best song that it like can be. I don't know. And then at the end on the album, there's like maybe 2 or 3 songs that I myself produced the original instrumental from, but I find that my influence is like on like, I don't know, maybe like 15 to 20 of them, and I really enjoy that, like influencing in very small ways but keeping the true vision of the original artist behind it at the same time. I think it's really rewarding for me.
You're an Imagineer.
I feel like I'm only going to reiterate kind of what was already said, but I've always appreciated when maybe the materials aren't exactly 100%, or you're dealing with, you know, a hand-me-down piece of equipment. But what ends up happening is you stop focusing so much on having great equipment or anything like that, and you just focus on what you can put out there, can express in your own way. When you're not as worried about making the equipment be 100%, the genuineness comes out. I guess maybe if that's fair to say.
I agree.
What's next for Hideout? What's the next goal?
There may or may not be a documentary about us released on probably Adam Woodard's YouTube channel or August Productions' YouTube channel. They're making a documentary about the creation of our second album and kind of the era of Hideout that was. It's probably going to be called the Sunseekers documentary or something like that. We don't have a title confirmed yet, but if you go to our social page, we'll definitely be posting about it.
And just so you know, Channing Tatum is playing Jacob in this movie.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I can't believe we got him.
If you're listening to this and you're in the Champaign area,
you can join Hideout.
You don't even have to be a part of the university. If you think what you heard is interesting and you're looking for people that are just like you or have similar views or interests to you, come. We want to see you there.
It's very fun. There. You'll find more than just a group of artists. It's really a community. It's a group of friends as well. Especially in the spring semesters, we really hit our stride. The new people get acclimated, and we really do feel like it's one big old group of pals. We're working on our 4th album very soon. When you hear this, it will be in production. There'll probably be songs like that exist already. Come and join if you're a person listening to this in the Champaign area and want to
DM us.
DM us on Instagram, hideout.hhc.
Champaign is also a band podcast is proud to support Jubilee Cafe. Jubilee Cafe is a free weekly meal program at Community United Church of Christ, 805 South 6th Street in Champaign, Illinois. Jubilee Cafe serves a home-cooked meal from 5 to 6:30 each Monday. Their mission is to feed hungry people by cooking healthy, delicious meals and by serving their guests restaurant-style with servers waiting on tables. Jubilee Cafe is open to anyone who cares to eat with them. Because food insecurity among students is so high, they serve students as well as others in and around the Champaign-Urbana community who struggle with hunger. Meals are free to all and will be served each Monday evening. Located in the accessible lower level of the building at 6th and Daniel Streets in Champaign. For more information on the meal or how to volunteer, go to the Jubilee Cafe CUCC Facebook page or email them at jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. That's jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. Welcome back. So, Junie, what is your favorite Champaign-Urbana venue, past or present?
I might say the same thing as last time. I can't really remember exactly what I said last time. I think 404 is probably the one that I've been to the most and the one that I like have enjoyed the most, just because I have so many like explicit memories of being there and like just funny things that happen, and it's so chaotic. It's so fun. But then also I'd say like close second would be Spice Rack, just because they run those shows really clean and they always pick like really good bands, and we performed there once. So
that was a crazy show.
It was really crazy. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Jacob,
I would I'd have to go with 404 as well. 404 House Not Found. It's just the guys run it. Like you're
It's our
very
guys.
very tight. That's our guys. That was the first house show I ever went to. Like I lived in Champaign my entire life and I had no idea there was like an underground music scene in that area, and it kind of like blew my mind. It's kind of what inspired part of the name of Hideout. Is kind of like this underground thing that like you had no idea existed, but like once you're in, you're welcomed in the Hideout and it feels like a home to you. So I feel like that I have to say 404 for that reason. It was the first one I went to. I really love the vibes. When I say vibes, I mean like it is in an unfinished basement, but it's like it's amazing. It's really amazing. I also really liked, but 301 Water Street was a pretty great venue.
Dude, that was
I really liked that.
Oh, that was so much fun.
It was like I don't even know. I don't even call it a house show. It's just like a warehouse kind of.
It was
I don't even know.
Big ass apartment.
Yeah.
But it was, oh my god, those were so much fun.
I don't know if they're still doing shows, but
No, they're not.
those were fire.
Yeah, I think bad for your health really like took off. So it's like I think they're focused on the bad for your health stuff.
Matthew, what's your favorite venue?
I mean, you already know 404. That's right. That's
We're
right.
like
biased.
it's I feel like our answers are so biased.
It's so
biased as hell. But it's like, yeah, 404. I really enjoyed it. Even like outside of like the house show scene, the people that run it are pretty cool people, and like I think like a lot of my memories from like being at school here, like a good amount of those memories are like at 404. Like I like spent the night at 404. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Also the Spice Rack is such cool people. They do some crazy stuff over there. I wasn't there whenever Hideout performed. I was sick. But I think the Spice Rack and 404 have especially like supported like the hip hop part of like the Champaign music scene, as well as like Nola's. Rest in peace, Nola's. Shout out Nola's. But like
Shout
the
out
Champagne
Rose Bowl.
Cypher series, so glad to see it. Rose Bowl, good folks.
Well, here's the heavy part of the interview, I think, is what makes a good music scene, what makes a good music community, how could we do things better is really the idea. And I don't know who would like to tackle that question first, but I'm opening the floor to whoever would like to.
I would say a good music scene, it just needs to feel like a community and something that isn't really gate kept. And I feel like that's something that we do pretty well. We provide an entry into this Champaign-Urbana music scene. And I do feel like, in general, the Urbana music scene is pretty accepting. I see a lot of new acts, a lot of new venues all the time. I think that it's probably pretty good that not a lot of people know about it, because I think if you're like dedicated enough to stick with it, it makes a stronger sense of community. And yeah, just like knowing who people are, meeting people at different shows, being nice to people that you've seen before, recognize like, oh hi, how you doing? And stuff like that. Of course, good music. I feel like we got that on lock. I feel like, well, not us. I mean, like I mean, yes, us, but not us specifically. I mean, like,
Nah, we suck.
I feel like Champaign-Urbana has that unlocked. There's a lot of good acts there. There's a lot of people that I'm excited to see. I don't know if there's like a deeper aspect to that, like what makes a good music community. But I mean, it's in the name. I think just the sense of community. I think a strong like openness to everyone. Just not being mean to people.
Yeah, don't be fucking mean.
Yeah. I second Jacob. Don't be mean. I feel like that is like probably like top three lock on like
kind.
rules of the house show scene. Like, don't be mean, be kind to people. I think like the biggest life lesson I've ever learned is like being kind to people opens up so many doors.
And just being there to have fun.
A thing that the Champaign music scene does well is like they're very kind. Like you see folks around. Everybody in this scene like basically knows each other or like has seen each other. And like,
yeah, it's a very interconnected web.
yeah, even like with the people that like run the venues, like they're literally like students here. So like you still like know them. So I think that even that sort of like quote unquote hierarchy that would be there is sort of like,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
sort of
like there's no hierarchy.
Yeah.
Almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like as soon as people might feel like they're like above it, then they leave. So I think it's kind of like self-sustaining. Like once people get to the point where they might feel like they're above it, then they just, I don't know, go to like Chicago or something.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, that's another thing too, is I feel like even the performers, like you'll get on stage and then you're done and you get in the crowd.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah. It's literally like, yeah, you perform and then you just like, all right, that was it. You like handshake someone and then you're like, oh, that was so good. You hug them and then you just like get on the other side and just wait for the next person to come up. Like it's such a, like, I feel like there is no form of elitism,
Okay.
which is good.
What can Hideout do to make a better music community, better hip hop community?
This is kind of something that I've been thinking about, because there's a hip hop scene that is like also a little bit outside of Champaign that I kind of want to like connect with and try to form some type of connection with. Yeah, I guess it's trying to figure out how exactly I want to do that, but or like how we as a group too can like do that. For some people it's kind of inconvenient to like come out to the meetings, and you know, like it's not possible for everyone to do that.
I feel like just by putting ourselves out there more, then that we're creating a better music and also hip hop community within the area. Just because if more people know about us, more people know that they have the opportunity to join us. More people know that they have a place in the music scene, no matter who they are, what type of music they make. We have so many jazz musicians. We have so many like people that would call themselves like rock artists or like alternative artists. We have so many of those that come together and make music with us, just because we are like an amalgamation of all different genres. Like, we are focused on hip hop, but there's so many different backgrounds that like, it kind of makes it almost genreless in a way. Like the Moonside Pilots do songs with us like during our shows. Like we did a live version of one of our songs, which like it was just basically a rock song at that point. Like we had a live drummer, live guitars, and like live vocals. It's just like, and then it's just in the middle of our otherwise hip hop show. So I think that just opening ourselves to every type of musician is just creating a better community, because they know that they have a home with us no matter what type of music they make.
Because Hideouts has like such a wide range of artists, musicians, and instrumentalists and vocalists, we are able to do a lot. I think that's something that we're also focusing on with the albums too, is that like we can get artsy, but we can get fun too, and like
goofy.
We are a little silly sometimes.
Yeah, we do go. I think we get silly a pretty good amount of times.
We get silly a lot of times.
Whimsical even.
When we went to Germany,
bombshell.
That was an arc.
Yeah. When we went to Germany, we performed a show in Panzer Hall, which is like, is it like a bunker? Is that what it is?
No, it was a hangar for tanks.
Yeah.
Oh, like
it was
where they put more tanks in the tank place. That's where we were. We were in there, and like we played on this like lakeside venue, and then we also did like a collaborative set with the Electric Strings Ensemble at the end on like this old military base, and like I think we did them all really, really well. In Champaign-Urbana, there's still this like standard on what music is. Like hip hop literally just got added. The curriculum and FAA.
Yeah, they're trying to create a minor.
Yeah,
for it.
Yeah,
and that's still in the works now. Like it's not even like fully there yet. Like things that like just got added were only added like a few years back. So like there's always been like the standard on like what art is, and like they have sort of like excluded hip hop from that. And I think that like being in this space,
we have the opportunity to cement it really, and cement it not at its current connotation of what it is, like to break the mold and also cement it at the same time.
So like with this standard that the university has on like the music that is studied in like these spaces, I think like we are able to like bridge that gap between like the hip hop community and like the like academic and the academia. We're able to like bridge that gap and really like create a foundation where hip hop can be and like almost. We'll be taken seriously. Absolutely will be taken seriously for a long period of time, and like hopefully like when we are graduated and have our degrees and doing whatnot, that like we can see our
impact,
the fruits of our labor.
The fruits of our labor, for sure.
We give HHC to the next people that come through, like the people before us did. Talking about the Germany stuff, we were able to go to a country that we've never been to before, that I mean, a lot of people speak English, but like their main language is one that we don't speak, and we were able to perform at an arts festival.
It was like a classical music festival.
It was like a classical music arts festival, and perform our music for people that were there for like intellectual music, I guess. There's a lot of like older German people in the crowd, which is, as you can probably expect, not our target audience. but we did it, and I think they liked it. Maybe, I don't know, but it's like I think it's important for us to do stuff like that, kind of expose our type of music to people who would kind of write it off if it wasn't in that setting. And I think that's something that the university can do for us, and they did do for us, which is like pretty amazing. Like we were able to
shout out Rudolph.
Yeah, shout out Rudolph Hawken. He's amazing. Like, we were able to show off our music in the sense that it is art, that it is intellectual music, that it belongs at an arts festival, which is like, it's pretty awesome.
Champaign is Also a Band podcast is proud to support Exile on Main Street. Exile on Main Street, located in the old train station building at 100 North Chestnut Street in downtown Champaign, has been helping to build record collections since 2004. Carrying a wide array of new and used LPs, CDs, and video games. Exile on Main Street has something for just about any music enthusiast and old-school gaming devotee. Exile also hosts regular free live music shows on its stage, so be sure to check out their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for the up-to-date details on the next upcoming event. Open 7 days a week, they can be reached by phone at 217-398-MAIN. That's 217-398-6246. Welcome back. So, Junie, what is your favorite non-musical thing? And I know that I've asked this before, but I wonder if there's anything new you'd like to add to that.
I think last time I said, like, writing or something.
Yeah.
That was a serious answer. Let me give a silly answer. I really like farms. I want to live on a farm.
What kind of animals?
Cows.
/ crops?
Cows.
What kind of crops?
I guess a ranch more, because don't ranchers do like animals more?
Yeah.
I think
ranch.
I want a ranch.
Where?
Mexico.
What part?
Where my family is.
Which is where?
Puebla, but like it's a town.
Do you want it to be
it's like
hills?
Yeah, it's in the rural. It's like kind of mountainy a little bit near a town called the Sucre de Matamoros. But I want to like raise cows and goats.
Describe the perfect ranch, every detail.
I like that I don't have to do anything. You're doing a great job.
It's surrounded by other people. My family's living there. There are chickens roaming around the house freely, little chicks and chickens. And I go into the living room in the morning facing the world, and I feel refreshed and ready to start my day.
Mm-hmm. What's the landscape around you like?
Damn, man.
This is your favorite non-musical thing. You gotta have like...
We're creating a scene here.
We're creating a scene.
It's mountainy. Like, I look outside and I can see two big mountains, and like I can see the clouds at the peaks, and it's like a stark blue morning.
Sun is shining down.
So, Jacob, what's your favorite non-musical thing?
I'm gonna go more metaphysical with this one. I'm gonna say personal history. I'm gonna say everything that's happened to me, and looking back on it and analyzing it and trying to remember things and talking about it with other people. Maybe just history in general. Just like everything that's happened just is so interesting to look back and be like, why did that happen? It was cool that happened. It sucked that happened. I've told some of my friends that like what my ideal afterlife is just I go into like invisible just spectator mode, and I get to rewind my entire life and just like watch moments like it's like a TV screen, and I get to like look at the statistics on everything, like how many times did how many Dr. Pepper and cream soda 0 sugars did I eat, or I mean drink in my life. Like I would see that number. Like that's my ideal afterlife, and I would just like, I love things that happen. I love the flow of time. I love just chronicling it. I have a list of every single song I've ever liked on a spreadsheet. I just like being able to have a record of things that happened, because everything that we like is a thing that happened, and being able to not forget it, I would say that is my favorite thing.
Yeah, because like you live to the moment's gone, but like it's not really gone, you know, if you choose to save it.
Yeah, so I would be distraught if my Snapchat memories ever got deleted.
Well, I was really hoping that one of you would jump in and start interviewing the
I was gonna be like, what kind of personal history? What's it smell like? What's it look like?
I've been thinking about this recently. You know, just the way that a moment feels. Like, we don't have a way to describe that. Like, or the way that an era of your life feels. Like, it's not a physical feeling. It's just like, it's not even a mental feeling. It's like a combination of like your mental and your physical body, just the way it feels. That is something that I wish I could remember exactly. Like, there's like the way that your grandparents' house when you're 7, that feels a certain way that you can't describe. And I like that. I like thinking about that. I don't want to lose that for any moment or era of my life. The way that a morning felt in your bed when you're like 12 years old, and like everything seems like so much more blue for no reason. Like, like the way that if you think back to like 2007, like your memories look like a camcorder for some reason. Like, I don't know, just the way that it feels in a way that you can't describe is so interesting to me. I was thinking about that like yesterday. I was like, I can't describe the way that certain things feel.
It's always like those things come like after the moment too. Like, you never like feel that feeling in the moment, but you're always just like,
but like when it's missing, you feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
When
that's crazy.
That is profound as fuck.
We should put that in a song, bro. We should put that in a song.
All right. Well, so Mathew.
Edward.
Bro, I've been deciding between two things. Oh man, one
Go
is
ahead
like,
and say both.
I'll say
Fine.
both. Okay,
But we have to cut out one.
lemonade. Lemonade is, oh my gosh, it is my favorite drink in the whole wide world.
Same.
I didn't even ask him. I did ask him, but he didn't respond because I responded at like 3 a.m. to the email. I was like, I'm putting lemonade because I know that it is. I was like, I'm just putting lemonade just so you know. And then like in the morning, he's like, you know me so well.
Lemonade is such a great drink. It's like it's definitely my favorite drink in the world. If you go to Walmart has Market Side Lemonade. Market Side Lemonade is probably the best lemonade I've ever had. There's nothing better, I think, than just like having a cup of lemonade, just being by yourself and having a cup of lemonade. That's a very good feeling, I think. The second one, I think my favorite non-musical thing is probably Black Love. I think a lot of the reason of where I am right now, like being in this moment, is all because of like my experiences of Black love. When I think about my grandmother and like how like she has shown love towards me and like what I wanted to do and what I love to do and like how, and also how to love other people, I think that like without that, I don't think I would have gotten to like have the opportunities that I have now and like gotten to experience like these beautiful moments that I have now. I think Black love is very important to the community, especially like in the time that we're in, like, and being in a society that does not like and has not necessarily like supported us. Black love, so nice.
I really have no good follow-up with that. I mean, other than just thinking about how, you know, our identity is shaped by those that are around us, and it's so important that we experience love from someone. These are all great answers. I love them so much.
But which one is better? Is lemonade better?
Is lemonade? Listen, this is a wild ass question to ask on Black History Month of all time. Which one are you choosing, bro? Have you seen the girl on TikTok that's like, which one are you choosing, us or Black History Month? It's literally like, what did you choose, lemonade or Black love? yeah, Jacob.
That's the real questions here. Dig deep.
I think Black love overall. I love my people. I love love. Definitely Black love over lemonade. Sorry, awesome. Market Side, but
damn.
You should have seen him in Germany trying to find lemonade.
Oh my gosh, and it was sparkling too. I wanted to like leave.
They have sparkling water is the default in Germany. It's crazy. Yep. I learned to like it by the end, but at the start I was like, no way. I just want regular water. Where is it? Where is it?
So, I mean, I didn't.
What's your favorite thing?
Being lazy.
Ooh,
literally.
No, that's good. I like doing nothing. That's up there. That's up there for me. I like doing nothing a lot.
But it comes with its own caveat, is that the only time that I can be really officially lazy is if I feel like I've done all that I can do. So Same. It's like I have to get through that, and then I can be like, okay, I'll just sit for the next 10 hours and watch something on TV and just
it's the best feeling.
Stuff my
love that
stomach. But knowing that you did what you need to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out and talking about Hideout and the HHC and all of your plans and the albums that you're planning to put out. And I appreciate everybody for being here, and especially Edward. No, for context, when we first came in, I just totally biffed Matthew's name, and I just was like, Edward. And I almost want to say that there might have been a Twilight connection in my head where I was just like, well, there's Jacob and there's Edward, I'm like, so I don't know. That's the only thing that I can think of what happened in my brain.
That's great.
Would Junie be the Bella in that situation?
I'm Bella.
You kind of look like Kristen Stewart.
Do I?
No,
I don't.
Would we do our Twilight spoof?
Hey, we're gonna come back for album 7.
We do our Twilight. We're gonna do our vampire themed.
Awesome.
Bro, Edward is so funny. I've never gotten that before. I think Mathew is it's not a name that you mess up, but it's a name that you forget. So people come up with other M names, but
Marshall. Morgan.
I don't think I've ever gotten Edward before. So that was gonna be funny.
But and then I screwed it up, and I was like, don't do that again. And what did I do? I did it again and again, and then I was like, just remember that's your first impulse is not right.
That's funny.
But I really appreciate everybody coming on the show. Junie, Jacob, and Mathew for being on the show. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Champagne is Also a Band podcast. This is Junie.
This is Jacob.
And this is Mathew from Hideout.
Reminding you, great music is out there. Go find it where you live.
That's a wrap.
Champagne is also a band.
You almost have an NPR voice. It's so good.
Studio South Bigger on the inside.
And just so you know, Channing Tatum is playing Jacob in this movie.
Yeah.